Okay, here's a strange one for you. What if I told you that one of the biggest rock bands on the planet, Coldplay, actually understands modern-day risk way better than your doctor? I know it sounds kinda nuts, but it's the whole idea behind something called the Coldplay principle. And according to the guy who came up with it, Sergio Darpa, this isn't just some fun thought experiment. The gap in how they see the world could be, well, disastrous. Coldplay are much better than a doctor. Look, obviously we're not talking about who's better at writing a hit song versus, performing surgery. The point is, this one little sentence is like a key that unlocks a massive and usually invisible risk that professionals are facing every single day in our digital world.
So to really get that big claim, we've got to start with the principle itself. And funny enough, the story doesn't begin in a hospital or a clinic. Nope. It starts right in the middle of a packed rock concert, with a video that went viral for all the wrong reasons.
So picture this. You buy a concert ticket. Buried in the fine print, you agree to be filmed for official stuff. But then, someone else in the crowd catches a private moment on their phone, posts it online for free, and boom, it just explodes. It creates this huge scandal for the people in the video. And here's the crazy part. The person who filmed it, they didn't break any rules. The real problem, the author says, was that the people in the video had absolutely no idea what kind of environment they were actually in.
And this is exactly where those two worlds just collide. On one side, you have the concert organizers, let's just call them Coldplay, who are totally protected. They've got a whole system built by lawyers and tech people. They can basically use your image however they want. But on the other side, you have the concert attendees. They're just out there with no safety net, completely vulnerable, all because they don't get the new rules of the game.
Now, being naive at a concert is one thing, but now we're going to see what happens when that exact same vulnerability, that same lack of a system, shows up in a place where the stakes are so much higher, your doctor's office.
I know, it seems like a huge leap, right? A rock concert and a doctor's clinic. But the fundamental idea is exactly the same. You have a highly trained professional who is operating in this incredibly complex digital world, but they don't understand the rules. And most importantly, they don't have a protective system built around them.
And the source material points out this whole cascade of tiny mistakes happening all the time. A doctor's spouse hops on the office computer to help out. Well, that could be a huge privacy violation. Or a doctor forwards a patient's lab results to a colleague on WhatsApp for a quick opinion. That simple, helpful text message, it legally requires 2 separate contracts to be in place. These aren't people trying to do bad things. They're walking through a field of digital landmines that just look like helpful shortcuts.
But out of all these little slips, there's one that the source claims a staggering 98% of doctors are guilty of. He calls it the greatest marketing horror, and it's something that sounds almost ridiculously simple: using a free email account for their professional practice. And listen, this isn't just about data security, not really. The argument is that in today's world, the tools you use define your level of professionalism. So using a free email account sends a really clear and really damaging signal. It basically says, I don't even pay to communicate. And the source is blunt about it. That is simply not a professional choice anymore. So when you put these two different approaches side by side, this is what you get. You've got Coldplay, operating with almost no risk because they are shielded by this massive legal and tech system. And then you have the doctor, with a sky-high risk profile just completely exposed to all the rules of the digital world, and half the time they don't even know it. And make no mistake, the stakes here are absolutely enormous. This isn't just about looking a little unprofessional. One accidental privacy breach, even with a patient who loves you and would never sue, can trigger devastating fines that are powerful enough to shut down an entire practice. For good. So if the problem is that professionals are out there alone and totally vulnerable, well, the solution starts to become pretty clear. The era of the lone wolf expert, that solo genius who could handle absolutely everything themselves, that era is officially over. Yeah, just think back to Coldplay for a second. They're not handling their own legal contracts or building their own tech infrastructure, right? Of course not. The modern professional needs that exact same kind of support. A team to handle the complexities of marketing, of technology, and of the law. That's what frees them up to actually focus on being brilliant at what they do. The source actually proposes a specific solution for this. It's called Il Gemello Digitale, which translates to the digital twin. The whole idea is to create this certified digital version of the professional's practice, a twin, that acts like a protective shell around them. It's designed to handle all that complicated legal, tech, and communication stuff so the actual person doesn't have to. When you boil it all down, what this entire principle is really pointing to is a fundamental shift in what it even means to be a professional in the first place. Here's the big takeaway. Being a brilliant doctor or a brilliant lawyer or a brilliant consultant, It's just not enough anymore. Today, true professionalism is built in the tiny details, and how you act in the digital world has become one of the most critical details of all. It is literally the difference between being protected and being vulnerable.
As the author puts it, with this beautiful, stark simplicity, Ben svegliato nel futuro. Welcome to the future. The rules have already changed, whether we've realized it or not.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about, not just for doctors, but for every single one of us. In your professional life, in this brand new digital game we're all playing, are you the vulnerable concert goer just kind of hoping for the best? Or are you Coldplay, protected by a system that's actually built for success?